Welcome to AJ's Diecast News and Reviews, and it's time for a NASCAR Diecast review. 21. A number that is steeped in motorsports history, thanks in part to a team created by 5 brothers in 1950. Wood Brothers Racing. Known for their iconic red and white schemes, it is a team that as of 2025 is still run by the Wood family and is loyal with Ford after all these years. There are also too many names to list of famous drivers who ran with the organization. Names like AJ Foyt, David Pearson, Neil Bonnet, and so many more. More contemporary names would be like Elliott Sadler, Ricky Rudd, Trevor Bayne, Ryan Blaney, Paul Menard, Matt DiBenedetto, Harrison Burton, and Josh Berry. The team was also given their 100th victory by Harrison Burton, son of esteemed NASCAR driver Jeff Burton, at Daytona in 2024. But before I go too deep into the history of this organization, there is one driver I'm leaving out. A driver who drove with this team for only 2 years, 1983 and 1984. And, while short, he made an impact those 2 years driving select races for the team. He finished a fitting 21st in points both seasons. Elzy Wiley Baker, or as you may know him, Buddy Baker, drove this Valvoline Ford Thunderbird in 1983 and 1984. Many will associate Baker with his 1970 Dodge Charger Daytona, but for a man who ran 700 races over 33 years, it's pretty hard to pick one car. So I'm going to focus on his 1984 car, made here by Johnny Lightning, through their Stock Car Legends line. It's a first for this company on this channel. We will also be checking out a vintage Racing Collectibles Inc. car produced in 1991 of Buddy Baker's 1983 car. Racing Collectibles Inc., or RCI, would early on make cars under their own name, and RCCA, Racing Collectible Club of America. They would later distribute their cars through Revel before being bought out by Action Racing in 1994. 2 different companies making the same car. We'll compare them both side by side. Like, subscribe, comment. Let's open the box. So this 1984 Buddy Baker Valvoline Ford Thunderbird is made by Johnny Lightning. Real quickly, it looks really good. Up front we have a very accurate T-bird front end. Everything is detailed, including the grille, bumper, and headlight spots. There's an air intake there on the right and a 21 on the left headlight slot. On the hood we have Valvoline, and a hood that actually opens to reveal a detailed engine bay. Or so I assume, because I cannot for the life of me open this hood, so I don't want to force it. Now, you have to remember that Johnny Lightning didn't have a full NASCAR license when making these cars, hence why they were called Stock Car Legends. Nowhere on the car does it say NASCAR or Winston Cup, but it does have the sponsors they could get on the cars. The side here is loaded with contingency sponsors and rubber Goodyear tires, but note, they do not say Goodyear Eagles on them, most likely due to that NASCAR licensing thing again. This is a pretty iconic scheme, as it's very pleasing to the eye and memorable. We got this blue from the front bumper that flows to this dark blue towards the rear of the car. A lighter blue and a red stripe wrap around the car's C-pillar and onto the other side. The colors are really just the Valvoline colors as seen on the Valvoline V, but distributed throughout the car. Note the nice black window net and Baker's name above the window frame. Look at that 21 there squeezed between the sponsors and that car design. It's so small it barely fits. Moving on back, we got Valvoline on the rear, as well as the number 21 at the location of both taillights if these cars had shown taillights back then. They did not. Moving to the top, we got a classic stock car body and a big 21. The other side is more the same, but look at this car's profile. It's more of a two-door coupe body like the actual Ford Thunderbird. Today's stock cars, we kind of lose the fact that these are supposed to be two-door coupes. The Mustang and the Camaro are two-door coupes, but the Camry, that's a four-door sedan. I appreciate the interior detail, complete with roll cage bars. Here's something we don't see with our usual NASCAR Diecast brands, a bare metal chassis. The engraving at top shows us the Johnny Lightning logo. Some detailed undercarriage business followed by the year this casting came out in 1998. Playing Mantis was the corporate owner of Johnny Lightning up until 2004, and now as of 2025, it is now owned by Round 2 LLC, who happens to be the same people who owned Playing Mantis back in the day. So we've kind of come full circle. Same owners own Johnny Lightning again. Quick stress test. Alright, that middle squeeze is solid. No sway, no bend, no noise. The same applies around the whole car. It is strong. As a whole, the details on this car look great. I appreciate the rubber tires and the metal chassis. Honestly, I wish Johnny Lightning was allowed to make more NASCAR diecasts. Lionel shouldn't be the only one holding the rights. It's good to have competition like this. I mean, just imagine if Johnny Lightning had this massive line of classic NASCAR stock cars like this, but today. It would be so cool. Alright, on to the 1983 Buddy Baker Valvoline Ford Thunderbird made by RCI. Racing Collectibles Inc. cars were the highest standard of NASCAR diecast in the very early 1990s. RCI teamed up with Revel before Action swooped in and sort of bought or became RCI and RCCA. I like that they have a phone number in the back as well as a fax number and address. Okay, this box is beat to heck. Whoever I bought this from did not take care of it, but I wanted to keep the box, even if it was in bad condition. This plastic box inside is not the original box. I replaced it as the old one was old and beat up and disintegrating. Something cool about these old RCI packages is that they have a quote about the driver in them. So this one reads, "The gentle giant with nerves of steel and a foot of lead. A very popular driver with the fans." That was supposed to represent Buddy Baker. Wonder who said that. RCI's take on the T-Bird is really good, but it lacks the number at the front left headlight. It's nice to see a colored grille though. No opening hood, but it looks good. I am truly impressed with this car's body casting. It's so detailed for 1991, and especially when comparing it to the NASCAR diecast that Racing Champions was making, or even Matchbox, this car was pretty top-notch. There was nothing more realistic than this at the time. The side is pretty simple, basic, small contingency sponsors, nice they have a window net and Baker's name on the roof rail. We got those nice iconic stripes here again. And as we move to the back, we see a simplified rear, but now the Valvoline logo is on the deck lid. Here is the top. And here is the other side. Got to point out the chrome wheels look good, but they lack any sort of Goodyear inscription, most likely due to licensing. But this is a quality car. A metal chassis. So how does a diecast of a car from 1983 hold up on our stress test? Let's find out. Middle. It makes some noise, and I can feel it's solid, but I wouldn't want to press it too hard. I don't think it would break, but I don't want to risk it. The rear and back is solid, as are the side squeezes. Side by side, these cars both look really good. There are casting differences between the two companies, but overall, they stay true to Buddy Baker's Wood Brothers Ford. You have to look at these based on when they came out. You can't really say that one is worse or wrong, they're just slightly different. A different interpretation, if you will. I think the biggest change seen here is the very front where the casting is most altered between the two cars. If you are a Buddy Baker fan or a Wood Brothers fan, you really can't go wrong either way with these. Both are great in their own ways. But what about you? Do you have a preference between these two? Curious to see your thoughts in the comments. Before we continue, I just gotta show this real quick. This is William Byron's 2021 Chevy Camaro, and it's a throwback to Buddy Baker's car that we've been looking at. So it's pretty cool that did a throwback to that. Anyways. Baker's highlight at the Wood Brothers came in 1983, when he won the Firecracker 400. He finished ahead of Morgan Shepherd and David Pearson, both drivers who had raced or would race for the Wood Brothers. Pearson raced with the team from 1973 to 1979, picking up 37 wins, their winningest driver. Morgan Shepherd would end up driving with the team in 1992 up until 1995, grabbing a win at Atlanta in 1993. Who would have thought that 1983 victory by Buddy Baker would tie in so nicely with Wood Brothers history? And that is all for this episode. I hope you enjoyed and learned something about this storied NASCAR team and legendary driver. Until next time, I'm AJ. Thanks for watching.